Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from Mindful Marketplace. It's the 23rd of May, 2022, and in this short audio and PDF workbook, we're going to cover a very simple marketing strategy for therapists that's ideal for those of you who want to quickly and easily expand your brand and build a ethical online marketing business that involves teaching and products and downloads and brand building in the sense of extending your audience beyond your local clients and essentially establishing for yourself a legitimate, ethical online teaching business that you can really do without any sort of tech background or online expertise. So I'm sharing this with the background context of a couple of folks in our Mindful Marketplace community have asked about solutions like, I think it's Bright Vision, something like that. And some of those therapy-oriented or therapist-oriented kind of online marketing kind of templates or whatever. I really don't recommend doing that. I think it's very generic. It's not very imaginative. And essentially, it just kind of puts you into the same sort of, roiling boat with everybody else who's kind of showing up in the online space the very same way. So instead, I'm going to give you a simple, let's say it's about 12 steps altogether if you incorporate the higher end or the more advanced strategies here. But this is very, very simple. It's very effective. It's ideal for those of you who are teaching or leading or working with people in the DBT, CBT, anxiety, neurodivergent, whatever, depression. Like if you're working with people and teaching people and actually trying to help people beyond the folks that you can see in person, and you're really actually trying to become a thought leader and to share your passion for this is an exact step-by-step system that'll work for you. So let's dive right in. Again, if you're in our community, you have access to this PDF that you can download that walks you through all this. If you want to go through a small group cohort where we do this together in June, I'll be leading several of these in our Mindful Marketplace course community. But for everybody else who just wants the strategy, here it is. And again, you can download the PDF. I'll leave a link for the public below. All right, so step number one is you're going to go to answerthepublic.com. This is a very simple online marketing keyword research tool that essentially tells you verbatim what people are asking in the search engines. They're typing these things into Google or Bing or whatever the search engine they're using is. It could be social media, and essentially trying to discover answers to things that are challenging for them. So you're actually you're looking for questions that people have that you're going to be answering through the rest of this process. So let's say you go to Answer the Public and you land on their splash page. There's a big search bar there. You type in, let's say, DBT for kids or mindfulness for anxiety. It's going to give you back a whole plethora of questions verbatim that people are really asking that you can pick the ones that are most appropriate for you to answer. And this is sort of the foundational linchpin for the rest of this process. Step number two, you're going to just pick a catchy number of questions to answer, right? 7, 11, 21, these are all good numbers, 5, 10, 15, it doesn't matter. But there's a little bit of sort of marketing, kind of savvy behind this, and numbers that are a little bit off or uneven, like 7, 11, 21, etc. Those tend to be more eye-catching, so I recommend going there, but that's just a preference. All right, step number three, you're going to record your answers. You can do this solo, like I'm doing here, or you can use an interviewer, like a friend, a family member, a professional peer, a partner, a romantic partner. I've had my girlfriend do this. It doesn't matter. You just want to have people ask you the questions, and you're going to have this sort of interactive conversation, which is really, really valuable for your clients and your community. Again, you can also do this like I'm doing here, totally by yourself, and it's equally as valuable, or I think it's a little bit more valuable when you have this sort of interrogatory based kind of interaction rather than reading like I'm doing here. I mean, this would probably be better for you if I had someone asking me these strategies, but in the interest of time, I just want to get this done. So this is the format in which I'm doing it. All right. If you're going to go with a solo recording, I'm doing this on the Anchor app, which is free. It's a podcasting app. If you're using, there's lots of other alternatives. I use something called Noted as well, which is great. If you're using a interview kind of format for your Q&A, I recommend something called Tape a Call. It's on at least the iOS App Store. I think it may also be on Android, but it's a great tool that allows you to record these calls with somebody else, and they actually give you a transcription as well. So that's ideal for actually repurposing the audio into a PDF or a workbook or a worksheet or an even short ebook. I mean, if you have enough content that you can really add value and volume to the end result, which is this, the course or the whatever it is that you're creating here, whether it's a course, whether it's a short book, whether it's a series of posts on a membership blog, all of this is well served by the same exact process. So again, the transcription that Tape a Call gives you, and Tape a Call costs like $15 a year. So it's just a crazy good deal. For those of us on a bootstrap budget. All right, the next step is you're going to post your PDF and your audio to a LMS. You can use something like Gumroad, which is free, which is very popular. You can use something like Buy Me a Coffee, which is another free LMS or e-commerce storefront software that's also, super easy to use. You can use something called Lemon Squeezy, which is also free to use and really beautiful. You can use something like Podia, which is not free. It's $39 a month and up. This is what we've used for many years, in our mindful marketplace community. Podia is great. It's just a little bit more pricey if you're just getting started, but they don't take any transaction fees. So, it's a little bit, whereas the other ones do. I don't want to get into that here, but like Gumroad will take 7% or 8% of your sales. So will Lemon Squeezy until you get to certain tiers, and that goes down a bit. Whereas Podia never charges anything, but they do have upfront costs. All right, and then the next step after that is you just want to continue to rinse and repeat this strategy where you're doing new keyword searches like you did in step one. Let's say you did mindfulness for anxiety in the first little course or series of blog posts or membership posts. Maybe you would do mindfulness for athletes or mindfulness for anxiety or mindfulness for awakening or whatever it may be that you're interested in doing. I just actually lost the page of notes that I was just looking at. So let me pull this back up. So I'm actually kind of tethered to some structure here. Okay, so let's go back to where are we? All right, so rinse and repeat. Yeah, it's very, very easy. I mean, you could do one of these a day. Like I'm recording this right now at noon. I'm going to be done this in about 10 minutes, and I could do another one at 1 o'clock. I mean, there are tons and tons of ways in which to rapidly create content like this that's really valuable to people and that can be really transformative. All right, so let's look at a higher end strategy as well, which is taking this simple approach and expanding this in a way that's going to extend your audience, it's going to expand your brand, and it's going to extend the appearance of expertise and, sort of professional gravitas that you can get using this approach. So a higher end strategy would be going to Canva and getting Canva is a free design software as a service that you can use. And they have like Q&A templates. So you can actually take the questions that you got in step number one, and you can turn them into these really beautiful Canva presentation slides, right? So there are actually images that you can create using Canva very easily, and you're simply going to put the 7 or 11 or 21 questions onto these individual slides, right, within Canva. And these are now images that you can post on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and they're all question templates, right? So you're actually presenting a file on Instagram, let's say in this case, where you're asking a question that you're going to be answering in this little course or on this membership site or on this even public blog that you're creating. And that's a really great way for folks who are looking to get answers to things they have legitimate questions about from a legitimate expert like yourself to actually click through and go to your landing page or your course page or your membership site or whatever it is to get the actual, or your opt-in page, a page that is designed to actually get folks to sign up to actually download this content, right? So posting on social media the questions and then driving traffic back to your course, right? And another really smart little tip here, a little pro tip, I hate that sort of euphemism, but here it goes anyway, is to add like a Linktree style landing page to Instagram in particular, or Twitter, that actually allows your profile page to showcase all of the different like little courses that you're creating or the different things that you have available, rather than sending them to like one generic website or one generic page on your website. So a Linktree page is just a page that has a curated collection of all the content that you have to offer the world, right? And you can just add as many of these little links that you have in the world, and this is a really great way as you scale this strategy, if you so choose to do that, to really create almost like a marketplace on social media, in particular Instagram, which only gives you that one URL. Like Twitter and Facebook, you can always post URLs with each thing that you add to their platform, but Instagram doesn't let you do that, or doesn't let it be done so easily. So you'll see most people have this, click on the link in my bio to learn more. This gives you the ability to utilize that link in bio in a very smart and strategic way. All right, so the next step is you're going to offer this presentation compilation that you've done in Canva, and you're going to turn that into a PDF as well. So now, rather than just images, this Canva presentation series of slides that you're using to drive traffic is also now a workbook, a PDF, because you can just download various formats from within Canva for free. You can download these as PNG images. You can download these as PDFs. So you're going to do both of that. And now you have this, you can have this presentation PDF that you can either offer as part, as part and parcel of the course, or you can actually use this as a way of, kind of getting people interested in buying the course as a freebie, let's say, to excite interest in the course, like a lead magnet, again, a euphemism that I hate, but that one in the online marketing world has a lot of resonance. So you can use this as a lead magnet to, give people the actual questions that are going to be answered within the actual course, right? Which tells them what they're going to be getting when they sign up for the actual course. And another thing you may want to consider doing, and this is what we do through our Mindful Marketplace community, is rather than using an LMS, you can turn all of these, so a learning management system being something like Gumroad or Podia or Teachable or Kajabi or, one of those sorts of digital e-commerce storefront software solutions. You can use all of this in a bingeable, listen on the go, audio course format, which means essentially that you're going to be taking audio like the one I'm doing here and turning this into a private podcast format, which has the advantage of being delivered straight to your members, your clients, your prospective clients, right to their phones, right? So they can simply choose the podcast player of their choice, and the link that they get sent, will subscribe them on their phones to your audio course content like the one I'm doing right here. So rather than having them have to sign up for something behind some sort of screen, gated restriction thing. They actually get this content delivered straight to their phone, which is a very, very smooth and sexy and super convenient way of delivering content in a highbrow sort of, strategy, right? So it has fewer friction points. There are less screens. No one needs to sign up into something on day 2 to actually access the lessons. They can just, grab their phone on the train, on the subway, on a run, in their basement. It doesn't matter. And just pull up their podcast player and choose, your course. And each time you update that course, they actually, get a notification that there's new content, much the way all other podcast players or all other podcast episodes that you may already be familiar with update you as well. So you're actually right there in the very space where other folks that they already trust and know and think are sort of celebrities or whatever also live in their lives on their phones and their podcast players, etc. All right. So we use a service called helloaudio.fm for this. And it's great. It gives me the ability of creating lots and lots of these for ourselves and for clients. You can also use other services like transistor.fm, which is a little bit more expensive. And then you can also, the way we do it is we send people to a landing page using Flowdesk, which is a really great email marketing software for newsletters and email automation. And every time a new episode comes out, they also, not just on their phone, but they also get an email from us, from Flowdesk, which also delivers workbooks and, corresponding content that matches the, the new episode that just came out. All right. So you're actually giving people physical or digital products in addition to the audio content that they're getting. It's really, really nice. It's great for therapists and for people who have, folks who are listening, who are busy, who are on the road, who are coming to you from, or calling in and going to a job, or, getting on the subway, or, walking, or whatever it may be. You're not asking them to log into an LMS to actually access your course content. They just have to pull out their phone as they leave your office or as they leave your Zoom or your telehealth meeting, and they can listen to your thoughts and your course content or your membership content on the fly. All right, the last step, and this is for those of you who want to hire and strategy even still, is you can build an entire community of courses and a branded membership using this approach on something like Circle.so or Heartbeat or Ghost, which is what we use. And all of the content and courses that you create using this approach can be stored in a, sort of a one-stop shop where you have all this community engagement, forums, interaction with you if you want it, interaction with each other if you're leading small cohorts, and you're actually building an asset, a brand asset that you can be super proud of and that you can potentially even sell down the road, which is not that unusual these days, especially in the mental health space, which is clearly, a space that is really blossoming in the, sort of new world in which we're living, right? So this is super easy, it's super affordable, and it's great. It's a great way to actually build a higher end therapy mental health brand on a bootstrap budget. You can literally create, and I know people who are doing this right now. We have a little bit of this effect as well with our Mindful Marketplace private community, but I have clients and other folks in my entrepreneurial orbit who are building these legitimate private communities for mindfulness, for DBT, CBT, all sorts of different therapeutic approaches to mental health, etc. It's really a great time to do this. And if you have a sense of passion and purpose around this work, using these kinds of tools and technologies that are really affordable and accessible is a great way of accomplishing all of this. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Thank you so much for listening. As always, if this is the first time that you're hearing me and you're interested in downloading the PDF that accompanies this particular audio, you can access this. I'll post a link, actually. It's a long URL, so I'll just post it in the community description box, or actually on YouTube where these audios get automatically published. I'll post it there as well, and you can download the PDF. And if you're interested in working with us, well, this is what we do. This is the goal of all of this for me, is we're looking to work with therapists and mental health professionals who want to help, who want to write books and create content and create courses and collaborate with our community to wake up the world with your work, so to speak. So mindfulmarketplace@gmail.com if you're interested in learning more about that. And again, this is a phenomenally simple way of using alternatives to some of these therapy practice template companies, which are sort of very mediocre to my eye. And I know that, at least for me, having a lot of therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists in my orbit, the ones that are using those types of tools and templates generally, it's just not a very professional approach in 2022 and beyond, right? There are better alternatives. And to my eye, this is certainly, a much more unique approach to building your brand and creating some unique, mental real estate in the online world. Okay, thank you so much as always for listening. If you have any questions, as always, I'm happy to help. Thanks.